Hello again, and welcome to episode 144 of Super Deformed Gamescast for Thursday, April 18th. If you're not aware, SDGC meets right here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the latest gaming headlines with a wide variety of panel members and guests. We also do a whole bunch of other stuff as time allows, like a separate show about movies and television, community game streaming, which we really need to get back to doing, and a mental health support show. If you've been along for the ride so far, welcome home, and if not, hey, feel free to round and stick and maybe throw us a subscriptions. You can get one of those sweet ass sock emojis that's being spammed in chat right now.
So
I fixed it. There we go. We fixed it. You know what? It's fine. So, but now everybody can hear everybody.
This
okay.
Is what happens when Derek takes a week off. We let John control it, and it doesn't work. Crazy.
So,
Crazy.
what even is computers? What even is OBS? I don't understand any of this.
So we have topics.
We do have topics, but so apparently, like, the whole time it's just going to sound like I was talking to myself the whole time. So that's fine.
That's actually pretty indicative of our brand.
Yeah.
So
I feel really bad for everybody. They missed that amazing joke that Justin told just like 2 minutes ago.
Justin, drop the joke again. Drop the joke
thing.
again, Justin. Justin, drop the joke again. Take a sip.
The moment has passed. The moment has passed.
Yeah, no, he didn't. It would be funny the second time. It would just feel...
I
Yes,
have a joke.
Exactly.
Finn.
He does that.
Finn,
I
go
have
ahead.
a joke for you.
I thought you said I have a...
Where do baby jokes come from?
Oh, God.
No.
It's when a dad joke and a yo mama joke meet and then they knock.
I'll take it.
So
anyway, Zach, we got a new format tonight for leading the roundtable discussion. Why don't you explain to the people in chat how we're going to be running things?
No, I just figured we should probably stop yelling over each other, and so we're just gonna try to politely do one of these little guys, and that's what we're gonna try.
Except for Brandon. Brandon's gonna hoot twice like a barn owl.
Yeah. So there is this weird thing, guys. Tuesday morning, like 9 a.m. Wired published an article. John, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Wait. Before we get into it, I do want to bring one thing up. Right before we went live, Jeff said he didn't know this was a thing because Jeff has logged off of social media because there are endgame spoilers, and so Jeff. So for Jeff and people like Jeff, can we give a high level breakdown of PlayStation 5? Story? Can we do that?
Sure, no problem. And just to kind of put some context on it, we said, okay, we're going to start off with PlayStation 5. Jeff is like, PlayStation 5? Like, Jeff has been so disconnected from everything.
Can I ask, is it actually called PlayStation 5?
Apparently, we don't know yet.
Okay,
They called it the next gen console.
All right.
Yeah,
that's not as exciting, but that's okay.
Conventional wisdom says that, but
it's going to be PlayStation 5. So I've got an article here, and I'll go over the specs. So, as Zach said, Sony has teased the first details for its next generation console during an interview with Wired. In the interview, PlayStation 4 lead system architect Mark Cerny spoke about working on the PS4 successor, most likely named PlayStation 5, but that hasn't been confirmed. In the interview, Cerny confirmed the next gen PlayStation is partially based on PS4 architecture, which means that it is backwards compatible. Cerny also revealed that it is not an all-digital device and will accept physical discs. Wired's article described the transition from PS4 to PS5 as indicated by Cerny as a gentle one. I like that, gentle. Adding that numerous games will be released for both PS4 and the next-gen console. The description of a gentle transition, a very, very soft and intimate transition,
and it feels
indicates. Go ahead.
I'm breaking my own rule. It just feels good knowing how Mark Cerny talks and to hear him say a gentle transition. It's just really nice.
Because it's just the most soft-spoken, like.
It's a really it gives it a really personal, almost sensual tone to it that I really appreciate.
Especially when, in contrast, you picture like Xbox just crashing through a window,
Yeah.
throwing shirts at the crowd.
Xbox One said, like,
tearing off his blazer and throwing it at someone.
Right.
Dropping a car on stage.
Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out and smashes beers against his forehead. It's fine.
And
So
then Doug Bowser walks in a Bowser suit, and we're done.
So, talking about specs, housed in the console will be an AMD chip that has a CPU based on the 3rd generation Ryzen. It'll have 8 cores of the 7nm Zen 2 microchip. Although the console will support 8K, displaying at this resolution will be dependent on TVs catching up. The graphics, meanwhile, will be driven by a custom version of Radeon's Navi line. This graphics chip will support ray tracing, something which is starting to become popular in movies and video games. Although it is traditionally thought of as a lighting technique, Cerny says that there are implications beyond creating realistic environments. And a quote from Mark Cerny is, "If you wanted to run tests to see if the player can hear certain audio sources, or if the enemies can hear the player's footsteps, ray tracing is useful for that." This is the first time I've ever heard of ray tracing, so I don't know shit about
Really?
shit.
You didn't hear about the...
Which is a weird thing for John. Yeah.
You know what, dude? You know what? I'm over here playing my
So-
Game Boy Advance. Okay, like I don't
so
know about any of this shit.
I've heard enough of John.
Hold on,
Justin-
Zach, real quick. There's one more thing. It's going to come with an SSD.
Yes.
Very
yes.
important. Very important.
So,
But
Everything
go
goes
ahead,
fast.
gaming son, please.
so listen, I've heard enough from John.
Thanks.
Justin, I want you
Appreciate
to focusing on brevity. Can you give a top-down, quick rundown of basically tech specs here? I feel like you had a pretty good understanding of it, and you've been keeping up with it. Can you kind of give us the rundown for people who maybe missed the article, like Jeff?
Yeah. So the Zen 2 CPU and Navi-based GPU were basically expected. Those are what AMD's upcoming 7nm designs are. They're not. Neither of them are out yet. So that's exciting. The big surprises were ray tracing support and support for a solid state drive. And the solid state drive is also more interesting because it is faster than any solid state drive that is currently on the market. There was a demo of Spider-Man, and they did a fast travel test, and it was 15 seconds on PS4, 0.8 seconds on the PS5 dev kit. So quite a bit faster. So that stuff was really exciting. They also talked about backwards compatibility. PSVR is also going to be included in backwards compatibility, which is really cool. Like, I thought PS4 backwards compatibility was almost guaranteed, but PSVR, due to the extra hardware, was kind of in the air. But I'm really glad, as a fan of PSVR, that is going to be supported. So yeah, the base of it was expected, but there were a couple surprises in there. They didn't say anything about RAM, which is surprising, but yeah. So that's basically the rundown of it.
Yeah,
32 gigabytes of GDDR7.
and so basically we're 2020, right? Expecting it 2020. I would be
Yes.
shocked if we see it before the holiday season, which is kind of traditional.
Zach, real quick, I want to thank the Dad Kid for that Prime subscription. Thank you, appreciate that.
Thanks. But yeah, so I think we're gonna see it in 2020. But yeah, I mean it'll be interesting. Finn, what do you got, buddy?
So, my question is: has anyone else stumbled upon the article the post someone made back in December that leaked all of these specs for the PS5, and then went on and made even more predictions?
Yeah. This is the one that included the Bad Company 3 thing, right?
Correct. So I know, I mean, because we're talking about things way in the future, so I thought it might be fun to read down the rest of their predictions, because they did nail all of the specs. So this was 4 months ago, back in December 3rd, they made this post. So, if I feel like it's like a couple years ago when that user Clobril posted all that Xbox leaks, and then they all got proven true. So we don't know for sure, but I think it'd be interesting if I could read some of the other things that this guy messaged, because we're basically predicting the future now, and it'll be fun to see if any of these pan out.
I mean, I have a mixed feeling on that whole leak, Finn. One, I mean, he got a lot of stuff right here, but also Bad Company 3 feels really soon for it to be a launch title.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 2020, which would be 2 years after Battlefield 5. There's rumblings that we will see something from Battlefield, something Battlefield related later this year that we'll probably hear about.
Imran, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that.
But I mean, I would be surprised if we saw, just based on Battlefield, Bad Company 3, I would be shocked if we saw something from them this year and next year, with Battlefield 5 only being 6 months out. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it seems, I guess, just very, very exciting that we're already able to talk about some of the specs for PS5, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
find it interesting that Bad Company 3 is the one that sticks out for you, because for me, the one right under that is the game that I feel devalues the rest of the list. Because this person also says that GTA 6 is going to be a launch title. And I feel like that is the one that kind of crosses the line.
No, yeah. That's not it. Justin, I see your hand, but first I want to throw it to John, who had his hand. John, what's up?
What do we think? And this is for the whole group. I want to kick it to Reb first because she hasn't. I want to give Reb a chance to chime in here. But what do we think that the price of this thing is going to be? Because I mean, you know, I'd love for it to be $399 console, but I mean, this sounds like some pretty pricey tech. Reb, what do you think?
Zach, what?
No. I go on, Reb.
Okay, well, I don't feel like I have a good answer. I hadn't even thought about that. What are we at now for the PS4? Anyone know what that's at?
$299, I believe.
Is that where it's at now? Yeah. $399. I mean, I think if you're starting to wander up into the $450, $499 range, people are gonna look at that and be like, "Heck, no."
That's the danger zone, right, Zach? Like
it is. I also like looking at maybe 400, but like looking at this, I mean, a lot of this sounds good. Like an SSD sounds really nice. Backwards compatibility, like I don't give a shit about the specs, but backwards compatibility does sound very appealing. Well, it would if I still had my PS4 games, but that's an appealing thing, I think, to a lot of people. I'm actually interested to see if Microsoft ends up matching them, but that's a different topic.
Yeah.
But I'm not hearing anything necessarily here so far that makes me think this should be dramatically more expensive than what's out there right now. Like this just seems like, oh, it's a normal console upgrade.
Absolutely. Brandon, do you have something for this?
I mean, I'm just saying, it's like everything sounds. I mean, we're talking about an SSD technology that hasn't been released to the consumer market yet. Like, I feel like they're targeting a $500 price point.
Yeah.
That's
what
I'm going into anticipating. Yeah.
So friend of the show, Matt Piscatella from NPD Group, had a pretty decent thread on this earlier, and he was saying a lot of the talk going on right now is a lot of people are talking about, wow, this thing's going to be really expensive because it's got X, Y, and Z in it. And that's actually a conversation that Sony would be happy to be hearing on social media, because that way, when they're going into a $400 price point, it doesn't seem so egregious. I would also just like to add that Clobrill, who Finn just mentioned moments ago, is a pretty solid insider at this point, who is pretty regularly sharing accurate information. And he has said that what he has seen for Xbox's new premium console is beating what PlayStation has. So if that's to be believed, then I would expect Microsoft's premium console to be more expensive than PlayStation, which already gives them a slam dunk as long as it's not substantially weaker, right?
Yeah, my
Justin,
tiny.
Justin, can you go really quick?
Yeah, I've actually seen some of the stuff from Clobrill, and he's kind of changed his wording in the past couple days from like, oh yeah, Microsoft's definitely, because, well, also the other rumor that's been going around that has come out from him and like a lot of the other Microsoft insiders is that Microsoft is going to be a two-tier console approach.
Oh yeah,
they're
definitely
going to have a cheaper model and a more expensive model. And so, you know, kind of the talk before was, you know, there would be this lower end Xbox, PS5 would be in the middle, and then the upper end Xbox. But the past couple days, I've seen some of those guys changing that they said Microsoft was intending to have the most powerful console, but now it kind of seems like maybe Sony might be aiming a bit higher to compete directly with that higher end console instead of somewhere in between. Because I was very taken aback by the announcement of ray tracing and an SSD, and those were things that were rumored a couple months ago for the higher end Xbox. So
yeah, John, what were you gonna say?
So I wanted to address something that Imran had said in chat. Imran said Microsoft is very aware that they lost the hardware race and that killed them this time around. I'll say that much. To a certain extent, yeah, I agree with that. But I wanted to ask you all. Wouldn't you say that, like, and this is, I mean, you know, I know it's Microsoft, we're talking about PS5, but it's, you know, we're talking about the launch of new consoles. So wouldn't we say that it was more the marketing, more the messaging that killed Microsoft?
I think that, like, what defined Microsoft's sluggish start was like three things. One, it was a weaker console. it was more expensive, and then they had a whole bunch of really, really negative marketing where they said a bunch of shitty things to their potential customers, right? Like I think he's absolutely spot on that like power was a huge component of the conversation that Sony used really well and really effectively that first year to 3 years out of that market. But I mean, the price point couldn't be ignored either, right?
Yeah, it was the combination of the specs and the price point that I think was such an issue.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff, what do you think? I know that you kind of are coming in a little bit cold here from not seeing the article, but what are your thoughts, at least so far?
I think Reb's trying to get a word in. I'll let her.
Go ahead,
chime in real
Jeff.
quick.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I'm just absorbing everything you guys are kind of giving me here, and I heard a brief mention of 8K, which I think is hilarious. I'm sure. What was it? Which of the Xbox guys was it? You'll always see it because that's what your output is at, which is nice. But I mean, let's be real. Even my brand new PC here can't play games at 4K 60, rarely even 4K 30 sometimes. So I mean, 8K is out of the question for games even for next generation. Maybe if upscaling techniques get better or some of the reconstructions. Sorry, Zach, go ahead.
No. I think you're absolutely right. But my guess, and this is just, and I'll throw it to Reb really quickly, but my guess is they're mostly doing it so that way they can, if Netflix and other streaming platforms hit that 8K barrier, they have the technology in it so they can scale.
8K video, I could see, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Finn, I want to get you
Reb first.
Go to Reb. Yeah, first go to Reb. Yeah.
Thanks. So I was just thinking a little bit more about the price now that I had time to kind of absorb the question. And the reason why I think like it's got to be, I think $500, I think that's too high. The reason why I think that is because, we are all people on the internet with, some money to spend presumably on technological devices. And so the people that are talking about this on the internet are usually generally going to be more okay with a higher price point. But you got to think that the majority of the people who buy these things are people who, maybe people with higher budgets, but there are a lot of people with less budgets where this is the Christmas gift. Like this is the one big thing. And I feel like maybe they think about this and they think if this gets too high, then we suddenly alienate this huge customer base of lower income people, a huge group of holiday sales. It's not everything. It's not the end all be all. In the end, they have to make sure they're actually making a profit on whatever hardware and technology is in this thing. But also, I think if you get too high, then it starts becoming like there's a reason why people aren't buying VR. And I know that that's not a fair comparison because VR doesn't have nearly as many games, but also the price point was a big issue because people can't afford to blow that much money on a single device. And if Xbox or even PC ends up being more affordable next generation, then that's where people will go.
Right. Justin, I saw your hand up, but Finn, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted the 8K thing. Like right now, yes, it seems laughable. Obviously, we're not getting 8K, but it seems it's more of a future-proofing thing than something that's going to be available at launch. Like we're talking this system won't be coming out till 2020 at the earliest, and consoles now, like console generations, are going 6 to 10 years, give or take. So we're looking at by like 2028, maybe 8K will be the new standard by then. We don't know what's going to happen in 8 to 10 years. It's just nice that ability is there, even if it's just upscaling instead of true native 8K. It's going to be nice to have.
Yeah, for sure. Justin, what did you have, buddy?
Just to comment on the price thing, I think that like the backwards compatibility stuff is also going to be a factor in there because I think, if people are like, oh, well, I don't have to keep this old console around, I can sell it to somebody, or, hey, I can, this is expensive, but I can carry over my library with me. I think that might help a little bit instead of just being like, because, like this gen, for example, when people bought a PS4, they bought, GTA 5 again with it. When you subtract that price of the game, it's not all that much more. Like, I think that might be something that they're trying to, I think that might be actually why they started talking about backwards compatibility now, to really, get people excited that yes, all the stuff that you have will carry over.
Yeah. Well, like that's a huge thing, right? Like we just saw. I mean, it's we're in chat. People were just talking about every PS4 exclusive that we hear about now is obviously going to probably be enhanced for PS5, but maybe even launch around the same time, which I think is super valid. Definitely the case, but it won't be like last time where they would sell you The Last of Us, and they would sell you The Last of Us remastered like 6 or 12 months later, because that same disc will work. I mean, maybe they'll go the reach route and bundle in some multiplayer DLC for The Last of Us, but it'll be interesting to see how they market those things, and if they hold on to the release of those games so they can sell them at full price with the new console. But maybe they won't. I don't know. It's interesting. When I hear them talk about 8K, it just reminded me of, there's this video with Xbox Live's Major Nelson from Xbox One's launch where he's unboxing the console, and he pulled out an HDMI cable and he said, "Here's a 4K capable HDMI cable," which was like supposed to be exciting, but then like by 2019 standards, and then when you looked at like the resolutions that most games were shipping on at that time on Xbox One, it was just like I don't know. The 8K thing today feels like a gimmick, but maybe they're future proofing the for streaming. I don't know. It seems cool. Does anybody have any last minute thoughts, Jeff or Brandon, or John's got his hand up on PS5 before we move on?
So I actually I wanted to springboard off what you were saying about launch stuff and cross gen stuff. So obviously everybody knows PS4 was not backwards compatible with PS3, but a lot of the games that were releasing, I would say for the first 8 to 9 months or maybe even a year, were all cross gen games, right? Like there was a PS3 version and a PS4
Shadow
version.
of Mordor was still getting a PS3.
Yeah, it was really, Assassin's Creed, like all these games were getting Destiny, all these games were getting PS3 releases. Now with PS5, this is a backwards compatible console, so like that feels a lot more organic, that feels a lot more, but at the same time, how long do we think, like, so here's my question, right? Like Death Stranding, for example, right? This is obviously going to be a cross-gen game. Like it's probably going to launch not too far after the PS4 or after the PS5 does.
Death Stranding's not a video game.
Sorry. Well, whatever it is, right now we're going to assume it's a video game. But if Death Stranding is, Red Light completely threw me off there. If Death Stranding is in fact a video game, what is this? I mean, are there truly cross-gen releases anymore, or is Death Stranding just going to? I don't know. Like, how long do you? I guess what I'm saying is, how long do you think it's going to be this time around? For PS5 capable titles to be played on PS4. How long do you think we're going to see the cross-gen stuff go?
1 year.
I see. My guess is that it'll be. I think that
you think it's gonna be longer.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. What were you gonna say?
I feel like, what's the install base of the PS4? Like 90 million?
Right now. Yeah.
It's almost at 100. It's like real close.
Yeah. What was the PS3 at by the time the PS4 came out?
80 something.
Yeah,
80.
something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, you think there's still another year and a half to go of like strong PS4 sales? Like it's gonna be a long cross generation, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, they could even just release it. I look at it the way Xbox does, where it's like a regular Xbox One game, and then some games are Xbox One enhanced. It'd be like that. There'll be a PS4 version and then a PS5 enhanced version that's built for PS5, but they'll be sold at the same price and at the same time. So it doesn't really splinter anybody. But if you have a PS5, you're going to get the definitive experience the way the One X version looks like. Reb, I'm going to pass it on to you.
My extremely short answer is games will be released on both the PS4 and the PS5 until it no longer becomes profitable to do so. So when enough people have a PS5 and people can get more money by just focusing on PS5 and selling games on that instead of putting in the work to do PS4 versions as well, then that'll be when they stop doing it. Like that.
Yeah.
Does it sell? That'll be the thing.
It'll be like the big multiplayer persistent world games that drop first because they don't want to deal with servers on two very different systems.
Yes.
Yeah, my exact feeling on this, and I'll throw it to Jeff in a second, but my exact feeling on this is that it will basically be how FIFA has been handled by EA, which is like, as long as we're still selling copies, we're going to keep making, like, wasn't it like 2016 was the last PS2 version of FIFA that was like, so like, I mean, I can't anticipate it being like, I think that as long as the game will play on the console, then I think that we will see at least Microsoft keep publishing their games there, and I would be shocked if we didn't see PlayStation do something similar. Jeff, what were you going to say?
They still sell Just Dance on the Wii?
Yes.
Yes,
it's the best-selling platform for Just Dance.
Amazing. Sorry, continue.
Jeff?
I was just gonna chime in on the price a little bit more. I didn't really get to touch on that. I agree $4.99 is possible. I think that $3.99 price has still got to be super attractive because that is what the PlayStation 4 launched at and because it did so well out of the gate. A couple things I just wanted to chime in on. I think there's no doubt in my mind that no matter how many SKUs each hardware manufacturer has, Microsoft will have the most powerful box, even if it means making changes 3 months out, adding more RAM, adding more. There is no fucking way they are taking that loss again, even if it's not that important, even if it's a slim margin. I have full confidence they want to say we have the most powerful box, and I don't think it's as important for Sony. I think Sony can afford to be like, we're going to keep focusing on our games because that's what everyone really liked out of this generation. These big first party single player games, and they're still going to look good and still run great. And then when you guys talked about the cross-gen stuff, I guess I was just wondering about the discs. Like, I guess they don't have to make. Last time we had like Assassin's Creed Black Flag on a PS3 case and then a PS4 case, but we've seen with Microsoft their Xbox One cases in stores. They have like Xbox 360, Xbox One banner at the top, like a. So I guess we'll get PS4/PS5 cases. There's only going to be one version, one SKU of the game that you go and buy.
Yeah, and they'll probably market some bullshit tagline like "plays best on blah," which is like
Yeah,
what
of
which is
Of
what
course
they're
they
doing
will.
with the Xbox One anyway.
Yeah.
And they might have like a texture pack or something that you download
Yeah.
separately for the PS5 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other last minute thoughts on PS5 before we move on? Justin?
Oh, John had his hand up first.
All right, fine. John.
I just had one very quick question for everybody. How long is it going to be before we see the iterative console cycle?
3 years.
PS5 Pro, baby, the Pro.
3
You know
years.
that Pro is
3
coming.
to 4 years. Yeah.
3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
It'll be this year because Nintendo Switch is doing it.
Oh,
She meant for the PlayStation.
Well, I was just talking. Okay, good. Good one, Reb. That was good. That was good.
We're on
That's all I
the
got.
Reb.
That's all I
mean,
got.
Reb is right, but also spicy take. I think that in 3 to 5 years, ideally, best case scenario, America doesn't go to shit, and we have better internet infrastructure, and we can actually have streaming that might actually be palatable and tolerable in 3 to 5 years, where we might not need these iterative consoles. But
So
that's
I
you
just
like
heard
the
it here
caveat
first.
that global warming has not killed us.
You heard it here first.
Well-
Zach is proclaiming Stadia to be the true king
Yes.
of all games.
Stadia.
Yeah. Well, that's you're assuming that Sony and Microsoft don't get bought out by Google first. So please. Okay, so Justin, you had one thing, and we're gonna move on.
Never mind. I was gonna talk more about like the ramifications of some of the specs and stuff, but I don't think anybody's really interested in that right now. So,
I mean, if you can do like a quick, can you do like a tight 60
Do it
seconds?
tight, like nice and tight.
Tight,
Justin.
okay.
a tight
All right,
60.
Tight
I'll
as
do it-
fuck, Justin.
A
I'll
toy.
try to do it as fast as I can.
Toy.
The things that are really exciting for me is like some of the stuff that they talked about is going to be really good for developers. The CPUs have been a major issue for developers on games this gen, and the Zen 2 CPU is going to be vastly going more performant than the current Jaguar cores. And also, like, there was a second demo for Spider-Man that was also really exciting, which was Mark Cerny talked about how the swinging speed was actually capped because the data couldn't be streamed from the hard drive fast enough, and then they showed a demo of jet speed across New York City. So that'll be really great for like big open world titles. And then another thing about like the ray tracing support is I'm not expecting it to be as advanced as some of the stuff we're seeing on PC, but a lot of it will allow developers to do stuff in real time that sometimes they have to take days to bake, which will really speed up development times and stuff. So I'm really excited about all that stuff, and I'm really excited to hear from developers once they start working with some of this stuff. That's it.
Yeah. No, I mean,
trying to go fast.
no, that's the fastest high level thing we can do. I appreciate you doing the deep dive because there are people who definitely give a shit. I'm just not smart enough to unpack it. Okay, so are we gonna talk about Smash? You guys want to talk about Smash?
We got to talk about Smash World. We have to
we
talk
gotta
I
about.
want to talk about what John wants to talk about in Smash.
Yeah, John wants to talk.
John wants to talk about dicks.
John
wants to
always.
talk
No, we have to talk. We have to talk about
Why do
it.
we have to talk about dicks?
Hey, Reb, you talk first.
All
You
right.
control this. You
All
control
right.
this.
Well, and I will, because when I let it go, it's going to dissolve, and that's fine. So, I haven't played a ton of Smash lately, but there was an update to Smash last night. I believe it was, what are we on, like 3.0 or something?
3.0. Smash 3.0.
Big update, DLC Pack 1, which brought Joker in. So there's, the whole, everybody's playing Joker right now. Great, fine, whatever. The other thing that it added was a stage builder mode, which has been present in Brawl and also Smash on the Wii U. However, it also came with the ability to share these stages online. And the stage builder mode is really great. Like, you can put, objects, whatever, you can make all these crazy stages. You can also just draw whatever the fuck you want. So, as you can imagine, you have John, oh my god.
Imran in chat.
Aren't you like in your 30s?
No, I'm just laughing at Imran in chat.
Imran. I'm not reading that, whatever that is.
I'll mute myself.
You can
Thank you, John.
So, as you can imagine, you've given, a bunch of people the ability to draw things and share them with people on the internet. So what are people going to draw? They're going to draw a bunch of dicks. And that's been the problem, right? And the reason why I am sore about this and find this somewhat, I find dicks hilarious. But the reason why I find this a bit less hilarious than John does is because, while Brawl did not have the ability to share your dicks that you drew online, actually, I don't even think it had really a drawing ability at all. You couldn't really make dicks. And the Wii U version did have an online mode. However, so few people bought that game that it probably wasn't really an issue to moderate. We now have, what are we at? Like over 10 million probably. And that's probably something like 15 million people at this point who bought Smash, something like that. It's kind of a vague number. I know 10 million was announced at some point. But yeah, they're all using this online thing. And aside from the fact that you can search for stages based on a keyword, and Nintendo for some reason does not censor the word dick. They censor a lot of other words, but they don't censor the word dick. They also have a recommended section that is the first thing that appears when you open up the browser to browse online stages. And the recommended section for the last, almost 24 hours now has had, a number of interesting stages, but also a bunch that just say dicks, or, that there are a few very cruel stages that were meant to resemble 9/11. There was some people just flat out having sex. There were swear words written in
There's the N-word
letters.
stage.
There's the N-word stage.
I saw that today.
They're being recommended. And the other thing, sorry, I'm almost done, John.
No, please.
The other thing that really, really sticks with me is you can report them, fine. Reporting doesn't really seem to get them removed. Oh, the other one is Mario pissing. That's the other one that's been on the recommended side of the page for like just Mario taking a piss, whatever.
It's so good.
Great.
Yeah.
But anyway, reporting, reports them, I assume. It's a frustrating feature because, there's like a drop-down menu. Why are you reporting this? It's inappropriate. Fine, that's great. You need to have that. But there's also a thing that has you like type in why you're reporting it, and it forces you to write something there, and it's a fucking Switch keyboard, and no one wants to use that, but you have to do it in order to report it. And then after you report it, you still can see the stage, and even if you block the user who made it, the stage is still there. You can't get it out of your recommended no matter what you do. So blocking and reporting them doesn't get rid of the dicks. You can't delete the dicks. Okay, I'm done.
John, quickly to you, buddy.
So, real quick, one, Imran in chat says, I made a stage called Sekiro Easy Mode where a sword would just come down. And two, I just want to point out that my first experience with Smash World was I logged on, I looked at the recommended levels, and right there, it was the first one I saw. It was called Alabama Brothers, and it had Mario and Luigi fucking. And I was like, okay, you know what? Smash Brothers might actually be a mistake. Like, that's please go to, if you want a great Smash Brothers level, go look for Alabama Brothers. I highly recommend it. It's wonderful.
So my quick thing is, this week we saw an important hallmark where Reggie Fils-Aimé has retired, but have we considered that he's actually just sitting in his basement and he is the sole person responsible with going through the filing of complaints, and so he's just grossly overwhelmed with the number of
What if Reggie's the one doing all this?
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that's where Zach was going. Like he's just sitting in his basement, going, "Not my problem anymore."
Reggie's just in his basement going.
I don't know. I actually think that Reggie is actually just quickly overwhelmed, sweating in his basement, trying to delete appropriate stages. It's like, we charged them $20 and we can't even keep the online up.
So,
yeah. Reb?
Sorry, I just have so many feelings.
No, please, don't apologize.
Dicks are hilarious. If and I know there's parental controls, but the fact is, like, nobody cares. There's like kids who are just playing Smash, and they're like, oh, what's this? And there's just dicks being recommended to them like nonstop, and they can't get rid of them, and the parents can't. Like, the parents.
By the way, there's your out of
They
context
can't get rid of
quote.
them.
Dicks are
And,
hilarious.
like, they are, but for me, as a 28-year-old woman who thinks dicks are just the most absurd fucking thing, like, why?
Yeah.
But I mean, the other thing too is Nintendo is so hesitant about online. They're just terrified of it. Like, they don't know what to do with it. Like, what is voice chat? We can't do voice chat because the children will get hurt. Like, that's terrible. But
Yeah.
then, like, how did they not know? They've done this. They've done this before with Wii U. And yeah, admittedly, there's a whole Kotaku article about dicks in Smash Stage Builder for Wii U. Fine, they existed. We all knew, but there wasn't this recommended feature that was recommending them. And Mario Maker as well. Like, Mario Maker wasn't as bad. It had the bricks. It was harder to make dicks in Mario Maker. But you could. People did it. And you could find them if you really wanted to. But they've done this before. They've done this multiple times. How did you not know that people were going to draw Miiverse, fucking Miiverse? I'm done. I can't talk about this.
Well, and I just want to bring what people in our chat are talking about, which is like, so Dreams, PlayStation's long-awaited exclusive from Media Molecule, is finally out this week in early access to PS4. It's very cool. It's a game where you can make your own games and play other people's games and share them with other people. It's very, very neat. Justin and I actually have a video on our YouTube previewing it. You should go watch it. But first, I want to say that people are mentioning there's a stunning lack of dicks in that. But I mean, the thing is, like, the technology exists, right? Like, the technology exists to moderate these things, because we know there are people making games with a lot of dicks right now in Dreams, but they're being filtered out in a way where I am not seeing them and other people are not seeing them, and I'm okay with that censorship. But why does Nintendo not have these systems in place when they roll out a new feature?
What is the algorithm for recommending dicks? Okay, sorry.
I mean, I don't know. Nintendo doesn't know either. Listen, they're a small indie company. They're doing their rep. Come on. Brandon, what do you think about people doing bad things online? Is this a new trend?
I mean, so how did they handle it with Mario Maker? Like, how do you approach the topic of dicks carefully?
I mean, you always approach dicks carefully, Brandon.
Well, but okay. So with Mario Maker, didn't you need to have a friend? Didn't you need to have a code from somebody to play their course, or did it actually recommend you people's stuff?
Oh, it recommended you people's stuff.
Okay. Reb, what do you got?
Okay, here's the other thing. With it was Mario Maker. With Mario Maker, they had the opposite problem. Like, yes, again, people were making dicks. They existed. You could find them if you really wanted to, but they weren't recommended. And the thing about Mario Maker is people were mad during Mario Maker because their courses were getting deleted for one of the members of the speedrunning community, Grand Pooh Bear. He was having all those courses deleted because they had the word poo in them. Like, poo. Poo is not offensive. You can put poo in whatever you want. It's fine. We're not doing phrasing anymore. But they over moderated. How do you go, like, why do you go the opposite direction with this? Why are we not? I would rather us being, like, not recommending courses that had the word poo in them than recommending dicks and swastikas. Okay, I'm sorry, I have opinions.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, you could do a lot worse than dicks.
The super dick games.
Is anybody else okay? Is anybody else think of that line from Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2 when he's like, dicks?
No.
I'm talking about
No,
dicks.
I don't think about Borderlands 2 at all.
So here's the ironic thing about dicks and Smash, right? Like, here's
hold on, let me just say this.
Well,
I'm
okay.
fine with the dicks. It's the 9/11 and the N-word levels and all
Yeah, that
Okay. Like,
I'm not okay with
there's
that.
a line, and those cross it.
I would rather
I don't
have
think the dick should be
more
recommended.
dicks. In fact, more dicks in Smash.
I would rather have dicks in Smash than things like 9/11 stuff and like that. That's all garbage, right?
How about
But hold on, I'm gonna make my point. God damn it, I had my hand up.
Okay,
So
thank you.
So I just want can we point out the irony? Like, there are no dicks in Dreams and there are tons of dicks in Smash, but yet Dreams gives you the tools to make a far more realistic and accurate dick than anything Nintendo gives you in Smash.
Dreams has sculpting tools.
They do. You can make. You could. Right? Like, you could set the curvature. Like, you could set the length. Like, there's a lot of options available in Dreams, and I feel like
trying longer.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like
physics options too.
There's physics, yeah, the swaying. Like, there's a lot of things possible in Dreams but yet all the dicks are with Nintendo. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Reb,
I've been thinking about it for like 5 minutes.
It's them being recommended. That's it. Like, if people want to make dicks in Smash, great, fine. People are gonna find them no matter what. It's funny, but they shouldn't be on the first fucking page you open. Because again,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I mean, I am all about like being open and talking about anatomy correctly with your children, but I also like if my kids are like my 10-year-old child is opening up Smash Brothers and it's just a bunch of photos of dicks, I'm gonna be kind of like, okay, maybe this isn't where we need to be having the anatomy conversation, right?
listen, but Reggie thinks it's time. Finn.
No, I'm just to answer John's question of like why not Dreams, but definitely in Smash. It just occurred to me that the user base that is playing Dreams Early Access versus the user base playing Smash and making levels, there's most likely an age discrepancy, and with that, hopefully a maturity level discrepancy. John's like giggling. He's like, I've already made 3 dick levels in Smash.
Imran said Rep's real problem is Smash has dicks, but Waluigi isn't allowed.
Put him in Smash!
If anything, this is their way of campaigning for Waluigi.
Just on the Waluigi note, I do love how we all have just agreed that Waluigi is a massive pervert, and no one has argued with that. Everyone's like, yeah, Waluigi, definitely.
Waluigi fucks, man. Waluigi's right up there with Yoshi and the amount of fucking as a Nintendo character. It is what
I
it
mean,
is.
with all the dicks
Community
present in
has
Smash, you could
determined
say,
that
I mean,
Yoshi
Smash fucks, y'all. Like, Smash
Guys,
definitely
is
fucks.
it too late to rename this episode the SDGC Super Dicks Gamecast? Because I feel like the D has been transformed.
It's too late. It's too late for this podcast period, I think.
Jeff, please. What do you got?
I have no opinion really. I agree with Brandon. Like, I would rather them focus on getting the hateful stuff out. I mean, dicks are dicks. I am sure they want to protect the kids. I do think it's funny that they don't have voice chat on the console because of the kids.
But they got dicks.
But they
Well,
got dicks.
Hang on. It's not just because of the kids, as Reggie said, because we do things differently. Jeff, continue.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's fine. But I agree. The algorithms, there needs to be some sort of curation, some sort of moderation. They need to rein this in a little bit, because that shouldn't be the first thing that Timmy sees on Christmas when he boots up his game.
So, Zach, I have a serious point I want to make, actually. No more, no more bullshit.
Not messing around.
So I'm done messing around for now. So I've got a 10-year-old. He's about to be 11, and of course, like, he loves playing Smash Online. Like, he loves it, right? And he was very excited about the concept of making his own stage, right? And I'm kind of at the point, like, so I checked out it today, and all jokes aside, I was like, Jesus Christ, at some of the shit that was on there, right? Like, I saw the N-word stage, I was like,
The stuff
Great.
you saw was worse than the stuff I saw when I was writing the article, and I was specifically looking for dicks.
like, I did, like, I saw swastikas. I mean, like, the fucking, like it was pretty bad, right? And so I'm at the point where I hate, like, I hate to think like this, but I'm almost want to curate my son's, like, you can't play online, like, you can play with me, but I don't want you touching this online until Nintendo figures this out. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, like, I don't want my son going on there and seeing about, like, I'm not so worried about it, but the swastikas, the 9/11 stuff, like, that really bothers me. And
I think you've made a lot of jokes tonight, John. But I think the funniest thing you said is wait for Nintendo to sort this online thing out. Reb, quickly.
My proposed solution is, that they're probably going to have to get rid of the dicks because they're Nintendo. But I think the most reasonable solution is have an actual fucking... No one can figure out curation, by the way. Everyone has curation all wrong in the world.
Yeah.
No one knows how to do it. But figure out some sort of actual curation system where anything that is on recommended has actually been looked at by a human being, 1. And 2, when you report something, it disappears from your thing, personally. Not from everybody's. Like, they got to review it, whatever. But you don't see it anymore if you report it. So if there is a dick, you can get rid of it, and then there's no more dick. That's my proposed solution. Or swastika, again, like, I agree that that's a much worse problem.
much worse, yeah.
Justin?
Glorious War pointed out something that has kind of been going on in the background for a little while that we haven't really talked about on the show. But, like, a lot of... Sony has started cracking down on games that feature sexually explicit situations with underage characters or characters that appear underage. and it's impacted, you know, a number of those fan servicey games from Japan and stuff that used to be on the Vita that moved over to PS4 and now it's on Switch. And that stuff used to never hit Nintendo platforms, but they seem to be kind of welcoming it with open arms. So it seems like in general there's kind of been a major change in curation and Nintendo all around. And I mean, obviously Smash, user created stuff in Smash is very different than something just being available on the eShop, with an ESRB rating for people to buy. Like, that's another conversation, but it does seem like, Nintendo really kind of needs to re-examine some of its policies, especially for things that are going to allow user-created content and with the way things are going to be posted on the eShop.
Right. Reb?
The breakdown of how they respond. So that was an article that came out recently about Sony, right? And they were saying that this crackdown was kind of in response to the Me Too movement, which their spokesperson kind of seemed really shitty towards the Me Too movement, honestly, but that's a different topic. Anyway, they have some sort of system to get rid of that, to not approve that content on their system, but they don't have it written down, so they can't explicitly say what it is. Xbox declined to comment. Microsoft says they won't tell us what their policy is if there is one. Nintendo said that their policy was that they will pretty much allow, I think they don't allow adults only, but they will allow pretty much anything as long as the rating, is like accurate to what the content is, which I think it's supposed to be anyway. So they've pretty much said in writing that they're cool with just about whatever. And it is interesting too, because again, this is like getting a little way off topic, but the Switch eShop is kind of full. Like, it's starting to get filled up with shovelware as well. Like, there's a lot going on in the Switch.
I'm getting
eShop,
a lot of weak feelings from it.
Yeah, and so I think between what Justin's talking about with the shovelware issue, with curation, and with all these other, and with the fact that the eShop is just terribly curated in general, and it's really tough to find anything or get your game discovered, I think that's going to be a major issue we're going to run into in the next year or two, as indie developers discover that maybe this isn't a great place to publish our game.
Yeah, for sure. Does anybody else have any comments? Yes, Finn.
It was for a separate topic that we didn't have planned, but whenever we're done this topic, kick it to me. Go.
Okay. Justin, did you have something?
John.
Oh no, sorry, I was scratching my
John.
eye. My
Okay.
eye itched.
Yeah, no, I wanted to point out something, an interesting conversation that Imran and Sam were having in chat about Splatoon 2. The interesting, the interesting dichotomy between those two online communities. In Splatoon 2, there was a lot of transphobic, homophobic stuff that was popping up, like messages and stuff. And the Splatoon community curated themselves. Like, they shouted that stuff down pretty quickly and pretty hard. They took a really big stand against that. And in the Smash online community, this stuff seems to be almost encouraged. And I was wondering why or at least there doesn't seem to be any curation among the actual fan base, and I was interested. I don't know, that is a very interesting split to me.
Yeah, Justin, you want to go, and then I'll touch on it too.
Well, I mean, I think Splatoon it's kind of more of like a social network-ish kind of thing that Splatoon has, where so it's more of like a unified community than
leftover flavors.
Than random stuff that people are just, I'm gonna make a silly level and put it online,
with dicks.
There's, you kind of have to answer for it more and put your face more to it on Splatoon. And then plus I think also just the people that Splatoon appeals to are more
pure,
because we are also just we were talking about how bad the reporting options were for Smash and how ineffective they are, whereas it seems like Splatoon has better tools to deal with that stuff.
Well, and I think a lot of it too is just Splatoon, like you were just saying, like Splatoon is a game that was designed for communities to gather, like Destiny's Tower, but even better in the way that you can communicate. Whereas in Smash, there's really no way for people to rally behind. I mean, I'm sure there are stages that are pro LGBTQ, pro trans, are really, really good places to be that kind of we saw surface in Splatoon 2, but there just isn't that same way where you can drive a conversation and actually turn a community into a more positive place through Smash like you could with Splatoon. I would just push back, John, to say that there's necessarily a big difference here. I think it's just that the curation system is currently garbage and might remain garbage forever. But 2 is just I mean, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because this portion of Smash just came out, but I mean, time will tell.
So I have one more question for the group, Zach, if you don't mind. It's a fast one, I promise.
Yeah.
Do we think Nintendo is going to eventually do something about this, or do you think this is going to become a problem? Because for me, I'll be honest, I don't want my son seeing stuff like this. Like, I'm, ha ha ha, dicks or whatever, but like swastikas and 9/11 imagery is too much for me.
Reb?
God, yes. They are going to backpedal so fucking hard.
Do you think it's possible they patch this out, Reb?
No, I don't think they get rid of the feature. Because they've had the feature before. I think what they do is they backpedal really hard, and I do think they'll fix the recommended thing. I think they'll fix the reporting thing. I also think we will see more stages than are necessary deleted. Like, I think we'll see a lot of team stages deleted because that's what Nintendo does, right? Like, when they moderate hard.
Yeah, they'll overcorrect.
And so,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing articles here, in, I don't know how long it'll take them, coming weeks, coming months, whatever it is, but it'll be similar to when the Wii version was out and people were like, why the fuck did my stage get deleted? And
my name is Richard. I go by Dick. Why did you delete my stage?
No,
like...
well, that is funny, but no, I mean, people who just like have a stage that has the one of the words in the name of the stage mysteriously has like the word poo in it somehow, and it ends up getting deleted, and people are pissed. That's what I anticipate. Nintendo will fix it though. They don't mess around.
Yeah.
Which was like, it was weird to me, Red, because like I saw all this today, and I'm thinking of the company that like back in 1994 didn't want the word holy in a Final Fantasy game, and substituted and
Pearl.
Pearl. You couldn't use the word holy in a Final Fantasy game because that was
For the
offensive.
longest time,
And
I never understood why Pearl was like.
that's why, because of censoring, and no blood in Mortal Kombat. You had the sweat flying off of everybody's body. So, and then seeing all the
cucumber, censored in Maple Story, I remember.
Seeing all the dicks and swastikas today really kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, wow, Nintendo's really come a long way since Super Nintendo.
The easiest fix in the short, just make recommended Nintendo curated and Nintendo approved. Like, people in Nintendo are picking their best stages, which is what we're seeing with Dreams already. Is Media Molecule handpicked like 20 or 30 of their favorite stages that actually work well and showcase the game. I think that's like the quickest fix.
Make a Saki stage. Everybody just get on there and make a shitload of Saki stages.
Hell yeah.
I feel like Saki, when done in the Super Smash Bros. Context, could very quickly end up looking like a dick.
I feel that's
absolutely.
true,
Real
but it's
ugly.
a wholesome dick, a wholesome fuzzy dick with eyes.
Never say that again.
In that case, Justin, we need you to make one in Dreams.
I tried during the beta and it did not go well. I was intending to post a video of trying to make a Saki stage, but it didn't work. So my long-term project for Dreams is to get that working. So I'm on it, but it'll be a while.
Sorry, quick thing. Brandon, how do you feel about Nintendo cracking down? Are they going to do it, or do you think they're just going to?
Yeah, I think they will, and I think quickly, like within a few days, we'll hear.
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll see something for sure. Maybe not. I mean, whether it's going to be like algorithmically or like human review based, I don't know, but they'll have something. They're not going to let dicks run rampant, and especially because this is being picked up so big. Like, this is turning into like the meme of the day. That people are seeing it, they'll respond to it.
You can't let dicks run rampant. You just can't. You can't. Like when there's dicks in the streets, people get hurt. Like, Nintendo, you need to solve this quickly. There's too many dicks in the streets, Nintendo. It's like Night of the Living Dead. When there's no more room in hell, the dicks will walk smash. Like, you need to take care of this immediately. This is a problem.
Yeah. Does anybody? Oh, Justin, you have something?
I just want to know
Finn's had enough.
If somebody has been keeping count of the number of times we have said dicks on this episode.
It's a lot of dicks.
Is Kogasu here? Because
just a little counter in the corner.
I don't think Julian's in chat, but Julian, if you listen to this later, please, can you get a dick counter for us?
Julian, please don't waste your time.
No,
Julian,
don't.
please.
Julian,
don't
no.
waste any of your time.
John, it's not worth it. Please
We
don't.
please need. Oh, whoa! I am worth it. Zach, why don't you take us to the next topic?
All right, now that you've destroyed my ears.
Damn, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was
really
pretty brutal.
hurt me. It hurt me inside.
I mean, I think you're gonna be all right. I think you're pretty tough, and I think you can make it. As I just scroll through our topics list, let's talk about.
I'm gonna make a dick stage and smash and call it Zach. That's what I'm gonna do.
Why are you
Wow.
the way that you are?
That's a good question.
So listen, we saw Switch is
I love you, Zach.
going to a new place. Where's that place? China? Is that confirmed now? Isn't that confirmed?
Yes. Yes.
So that's confirmed, and then we also know that that we've seen for months that there's 2 iterations coming, a light version and a more powerful version, which I feel like are less solid than the China iteration. Justin,
I just have a question about those iteration things because I've heard like multiple reports that there have been mistranslations and stuff, and multiple people saying they've been corrected, saying different things. So my current understanding of the situation is that there is a smaller, more portable Switch coming, and that is coming this fall, and that Nintendo is also planning to work on a next generation Switch, like starting development of it, which could still be years. Like Mark Cerny in that PS5 interview said, it's been 4 years he's been on the PS5. Like, it sounded more like Switch 2 instead of like a Switch Pro kind of thing.
sure.
Reb,
Yeah.
Reb, you might know more about this because I'm confused.
Yeah, and I was one of the people who had to do a correction because I was in translations are fuzzy and it's tough to get it right. The understanding that I have is that there isn't quite an understanding of what this is. It might be like an upgraded Switch. It might be the next thing. It's kind of there is something that they are currently working on that is better than the current Nintendo Switch, which que surprise, whatever, like of course they are. And it's currently in a very experimental stage. It's not like, I know there were rumors before saying that there was going to be a Switch Pro out this year, but I think the big takeaway from this is that while the smaller Switch is going to be out this fall, that's, the pretty good, well-reported rumor.
Okay.
The bigger Switch, which has been rumored to be out this year, is really probably not going to be like it's not made, it's not done, it's not yet. But there will be something better eventually.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the clarification because I've been really confused the past couple days and haven't been able to get a solid answer.
Yeah. So can we just talk about the significance of everything of the Switch going to China and what that's going to platform overall? I mean, we just had a really long conversation about Nintendo not doing what they need to do to curate and censor some things. Obviously, those are pretty big hurdles to get that console over into China at all. Does anybody have any insight on that? And I mean, Reb, I'm like by default kind of want to throw it at you.
You give me a second to think. John raised his hand, and John. Your hand blends into your wall on the webcam. That's why Zach can't.
Yeah, that's exactly why I can't see it.
That's why I can't see it.
I knew there was an explanation. I knew there was an explanation for my constantly being overlooked. I knew it.
Of course.
So I just wanted to point out that Imran in chat said, so he had the article professionally translated. The Nikkei story was referring to an upgraded Switch Pro. They're not referring to a generational thing. I wanted to make sure that everybody had seen that.
I think that's more likely anyway.
Right. Yeah. Here's the thing, about it being delayed. I don't really care. I love my Switch. It's my favorite console right now. I'm not rushing to spend, whatever X amount of hundreds of dollars on a new upgraded Switch Pro. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think they need it. I think a Switch Lite honestly makes more sense than a Switch Pro, to be perfectly honest. When you think about the portability of it and, giving it to your kids and letting them toss it around, I don't understand I don't think they should rush towards a Switch Pro anytime soon, personally. That's just what I think. I could care less.
Yeah. Reb?
I'm with John on that. I think there isn't really a need for a bigger, more powerful Switch right now. Like, people are really happy with playing first-party Nintendo games on the Nintendo Switch, as well as all the indies that don't need like what would it have? Extra power? Bigger? What would it be? I can't conceive of it, and so without details as to what extra benefits it would confer, it's really hard to say why anyone would pay that extra money for something allegedly better. However, the smaller Switch makes perfect sense, especially right now. I think, and Nintendo's been denying it for the last 2 years now, I really do think they're finally ready to drop the 3DS. Like, what was the last thing? Kirby's Epic Yarn. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing else has been announced. I keep waiting for like some weird 3DS Direct, but we haven't had one in a really long time. I really do think we're there. I think the 3DS is done. And I think whatever this is going to be the thing that replaces it. It's going to be like some sort of kid-friendly thing that is cheaper. And I think that you're going to see a lot of the 3DS developers that have kind of hesitated to move over to the Switch start moving there once this thing gets announced. You'll see a lot of franchises like that.
Really quick, John, before I give it back to you, Reb, do you think that the versions that Nintendo are working on, will they be separate to what Nintendo is bringing to China, or do you think that will be like a specific unit that they are making just for Chinese audiences?
Oh, that is a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
No, that's a whole different thing. So yeah, they're partnering with Tencent to bring the Switch to China, which is really
I didn't mean to like
big.
throw them together. Yeah, that's a huge fucking deal. Yeah.
Yeah, because China is just huge and absurd, and there's so much money in that market. It's crazy. There's so many people there. It's great. But so, I just mean it's like a really big industry, and it's really great when a console goes there because it doesn't happen all the time. But yeah, I don't think they're doing any. I can't imagine what they're doing special for China. I think whatever version they have to release in China of the Switch is probably going to have to come with some sort of thing that is unique to it. I don't know an awful lot about like how Chinese. I mean, I know maybe like more than some people about how Chinese law works with hardware, but I think there's probably gonna have to be some unique things done to it to make it acceptable for the market there. But I don't imagine they're gonna make like a whole separate Switch model that has like all these different features just for China. That would be silly.
Gotcha. John and Justin, I know you both had something to say. I'll let you guys figure out. Go first because I didn't see because John's hand blends in.
I think Justin had a response directly to what.
Okay,
go ahead. I was talking more about the China stuff. I think John was talking about.
No,
go on.
I just really quickly wanted to agree with Reb on something. I 110% agree that the 3DS is done, and I came to that realization when we got a 2D Zelda that was announced for Switch and not 3DS. With that, I was thinking to myself watching that direct, if this is a Switch game, then that means the 3DS is done, and I don't think you're going to see any more releases for 3DS at all this year. At least not anything remotely major. That was that to me was the indicator that okay, we are ready to move beyond the 3DS. We got a 2D Zelda on Switch. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Justin, do you want to bring us back to the China conversation and kind of some of the specifics of what they would need to do?
I've read a little bit about it because I think it's pretty interesting, but I'm not an expert on this, so I might be wrong. But like I know like the PlayStation 4 Pro has been released in China like shortly after the US release because the PS4 had been approved. So like I think any current models will be released there. I don't think like I know there's considerations like with region access for the stores and what games can be sold. That's probably the role that Tencent's going to play in helping to get Nintendo stuff over there is, getting a lot of the games through the approval process. But I think in terms of models, like whatever Switch is available internationally will be available in China as well.
Okay. Fair enough. Does anybody else have anything to talk about regarding either the two iterations of Switch, which we keep seeing more rumors about, or the console coming to China? John?
In regards to the two Switch models, did we want to talk about that supposed leak of the turquoise-colored shell that appeared on Twitter the other day? Like, did we ever get a consensus on that?
It's fake.
It's garbage. Yeah,
is it fake?
People zoomed in, and it just has the regular, like, Switch...
Like, the serial number?
Serial numbers and stuff, yeah.
So that was garbage. Okay, that makes sense. All right, that's all I was wondering. I never actually saw any resolution on that. So, yeah, whatever. I know that Imran in chat had said that he thinks that these iterative Switch models are going to come sooner than people think they will, which is interesting. Again, all I can say is I hope they focus more on a Switch Lite than they do a Switch Pro, because I think that's a bigger seller. I think there's more selling potential behind a Switch Lite than there is a Switch Pro. I don't think people give a shit about a Switch Pro. I think people do give a shit about a Switch Lite. Period. Like, I mean, I own a Switch. You can see it right there behind you or behind me, and I would probably buy a Switch Lite to be perfectly honest with you, just for the convenience.
Justin,
of it.
Justin, I saw you had your hand up, but I just want to give a spicy response to John, which is like, why would I want to buy a pro version of a Switch when all of Nintendo's games already don't give a shit about aliasing and they all look really rough on the eyes anyway? Like, what a more powerful unit's not going to fix that? Justin, go ahead. After I drop something really spicy.
We gotta let the spice settle for a second.
I'm sorry, the grass in Breath of the Wild looks very bad. I like Breath
You
of the Wild.
are full of shit.
The grass looks so jagged.
Oh my god, Justin, please. Justin,
so
please.
I think the light switch is a really, really good idea. I think especially with a full new Pokemon generation launching this year, potentially Animal Crossing as well, Fire Emblem. These are the things that, you know, really spearheaded the success of the 3DS. And I think a smaller, cheaper, more portable Switch, like with the year that those games are hitting, is going to be extremely, extremely successful for Nintendo.
Yeah.
I agree 100% with Justin. I think you know the real selling point behind it. Hold on, my mic is all screwed up. The real selling point. Can you guys hear me? By the way.
Now we can. You're good.
Okay, that was really weird. The real selling point behind a Switch Lite is
you gotta mute that mic, bud. It's buzzing.
Is it buzzing? Is it buzz? Am I buzzing?
Yeah.
All right.
I will take this time.
There we go. Is that better? Is that better?
It is better. You're
okay,
good.
cool.
Go on. Sorry.
So, no, I don't know what that was. Sorry. No, I just wanted to say that the real selling point. I agree with Justin. The real selling point is that they're. Jesus Christ.
Nope. We're all right.
While he's doing that, let me interject
Yeah.
real quick. Animal Crossing New Leaf sold 12 million on the Nintendo 3DS. It's one of the better sellers on that platform. It's behind like Mario Kart and Mario and like Pokemon. After those two, Animal Crossing is it. And yeah,
So you're
I
saying
very
Nintendo
much.
fans have no taste.
So.
Oh my god.
So is
Fly
now
to
a
the
good
sun, Finn.
Is now a good time for Jeff, Reb, and I to just talk about Animal Crossing and when we think it's coming out and if it's delayed? Because I'm starting to think it's gonna get delayed.
Fuck it, do it. Talk about it.
talk.
Jeff,
what?
Jeff,
I can take a nap real quick. It's fine.
No, I want to hear this.
Jeff, I want to hear your take on Animal Crossing. Are we still getting it this year? Are we getting a Switch console tied to Animal Crossing? Topics be damned, I want to talk about this.
I mean, I'm not by no means an expert. I'm not a big Nintendo guy, so like I don't know what they usually do for their special consoles. My gut tells me I don't see them do it. Like I don't remember them doing a lot of Animal Crossing 3DSs. I think it's more likely we get a Pokemon Switch. Maybe they'll do both. But for the game itself, I just feel like the holiday isn't the right time. I think that's Pokemon time. I was really hoping for summer. I feel like the window is maybe closing on a summer release because we don't even have gameplay yet. So I'm really fingers crossed for like early fall, like August or September. I feel like that's a really good spot for that game to hit. But man, would I have loved to play that over the summer because it's I wish publishers would just use the full calendar of the year more often. And I know Animal Crossing will do fine, but it's going to be harder for me to make time for it if it's sandwiched in the fall with 20 other things.
Jeff, while I have you here before I throw it to Reb, I know how much you love hearing Nintendo beg for directs. Do you think we're going to get an Animal Crossing direct before E3, or do you think E3 will be the big blowout?
Again, like I don't remember any of their E3s really being Animal Crossing heavy before. I don't know if there's enough depth to that game. Like I love the game, but I don't know if there's enough meat there to do like a Breath of the Wild type, like all Animal Crossing for their E3 presence. So I think we'll get one around E3 time, maybe shortly before. But I don't think it'll be the focus of their E3. I think they'll have something else.
Okay, Reb, what do you got?
Fight me, Jeff. Fight me.
I defer to you. You are by far more.
I mean, I don't know jack shit. I again caveat everything with I know I write for a site, but I know absolutely nothing. No one tells me anything.
Print that on a shirt. Okay.
No one tells me anything. I know nothing. I mean, I think I agree with not summer. I think it's too late. It's a big title. They'd be marketing it by now. It's not happening. I don't think it's. Some people in chat are talking about it getting pushed to, like not making 2019. It's gonna make 2019. That's their big game. That and Pokemon are their two big games this year. So I'm hoping for fall like Jeff. I'm worried they'll try to push it too close to Pokemon, and I'm gonna be really upset. But I mean, yeah, I'm hoping for fall. I do think it's going to be there. I think that and Pokemon are going to share the E3 focus. Unless they've got some other big-ass game, they're just going to pull out of their butts and put it up there. Animal Crossing is it. I think
Metroid Prime Trilogy.
it's not Mario.
Shut
it's not
the
Breath
fuck
of the
up.
Wild. I know that. However, I think that they have had a growing Animal Crossing fan base
Yeah,
that is
sure.
I don't think Animal Crossing has enough legs to take over the entirety of E3 the way Zelda or Mario did. But I do think that it can be the theme of their booth. I think it can be like the main thing they do. I kind of am hoping. I love Animal Crossing so deeply. And there's a very honest part of me that thinks this is going to be Animal Crossing, and it's going to be just more Animal Crossing with some new features, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to love it so much. But there's a tiny, tiny part of me that really hopes that they just surprise me in some way. Because as it is, like if you think about Animal Crossing, it's not something that could take up an entire E3, right? Sorry, Justin.
Oh no, so I'm very sorry.
It's not something that could
you guys know the week I have had. I'm
I know
just
the
very
week you've
tired.
had. I adore you so much. It's not a game that can take up a whole treehouse presentation, right? Like Animal Crossing is about kind of moseying around and going fishing. It's not dynamic gameplay action. It's not visceral, whatever.
Hey, it might be the new
But
one.
that's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, I don't want them to like fundamentally change what Animal Crossing is, but there's kind of a part of me that hopes that there's something really interesting here that can actually capture. I mean, something
Call of
other
Animal
than
Crossing.
My
What if-
attention for a treehouse.
I mean-
John, don't sully the name of Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing of War.
I was gonna say. I mean, this is clearly going to be the Gears of Animal year. So it's a crossover. You know, Microsoft and they've got that synergy now.
Tom Nook's gonna kick the office door down and yell, "Boy, where's the rent?"
No, I mean, first of all, as someone who knows very little about Animal Crossing, but who is just like passively excited for one of these, so I can actually get into it. I mean, I would love November, but I'm like you guys. I think that it is that's Pokemon season, so I'm thinking like early October or September. Otherwise, next year.
It can't be November. It fucking can't.
No, there's no way.
Pokemon's in November.
Pokemon's November.
Yeah, Jonathan.
My hand is up. It's so tired.
Blending into
My
the
arms
wall.
are tired. So I wanted to say that I think Reb has it right. I don't think this is a summer game. I think it's going to get a big E3. I think this is going to be their E3 game, and I think the smart money is on an Animal Crossing September release, a Luigi's Mansion October release, and then you kind of bookend that with Pokemon Sword and Shield in November. Luigi's bundles, yep, bundles. Luigi's
Little
Mansion.
Switch bundles.
Luigi's Mansion around Halloween just makes sense to me from an aesthetic standpoint. And of course, you know, when you think Animal Crossing, you think the seasons, you think fall. You know, I think that makes sense for Animal Crossing. But like Jeff said, you know, but here's the thing, like I'm not as concerned about it as maybe some other people would be, because I don't think Animal Crossing is a game that gets lost in the shuffle. People have been dying for this game Animal Crossing New Leaf came out in 2012, guys? Like, I mean, it's been...
People were yelling about an Animal Crossing on the Wii U and they didn't get it.
Yeah, so it's been by the time it comes out, it'll have been over 7 years.
Poor Jeff.
There's no way this game doesn't come out this year, and there's
What
no
about
way
Eco Festival?
it's a September game. I'd call it September, Animal Crossing, October, Luigi's Mansion, and then you get Pokemon. That's going to be your big 3 holiday Nintendo games.
Well,
So,
guys, it's not the morning, and John's making a prediction, so none of those games are hitting 2019.
God damn it, John.
Metroid Prime
now-
Trilogy in summer, baby.
Brandon, I want to throw it to you, but I have a feeling you don't have it thing for us.
No, this is really quite out of my wheelhouse.
Okay. All right. Well,
Animal
Brand-
Crossing, yeah.
Brandon's over there like, I don't care about any of this.
he
I
actually
mean,
just alt tabbed
I
at
love
Apex
that Animal
right
Crossing
now.
is a thing, but I don't play it.
Brandon's like, can you get a kill death ratio in Animal Crossing? No, I don't
Exactly.
care.
The things that matter here.
Counterpoint. What would it take for you to get into Animal Crossing, and would it have to be an open clone with characters that have special abilities?
I mean, I would rather play Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley or other sort of like sim life games other than Animal Crossing.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I mean,
Keep
because
it
I've
up.
played plenty of those in the past. Like I played the shit out of some Harvest Moon when I was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Like, I played those
ooh,
types of
blitz,
games.
ooh,
Yeah.
Bra-
When does Ooblets come out?
Don't know.
Okay.
Brandon,
that
what
game
if-
is real cute?
Brandon, what if Tom Nook dropped you, like flew a bus over the farm and then dropped you out?
Fuck off.
into the farm. Like, would that do
okay.
it for you, Brandon?
And
So-
you guys groan when I make jokes, and then John opens his mouth and you just want to log off.
No, we hate it. I was actually about to wrap, guys. We're 9 minutes early, but clearly John is broken. So let's.
I'm fine. I'm totally cool.
I think it's time we cruise into the weekend. How's everybody feeling? We good to wrap? Anybody got anything?
So I've just got a few housekeeping items.
No. Okay.
So tomorrow we are dropping episode 9 of our Final Fantasy retrospective, which Finn was kind enough to lead for us and host for us. We're going to be covering Final Fantasy 9, and then finally next weekend we'll drop episode 10 of our Final Fantasy retrospective, which has Natalie Flores from RPG Site. So we're finally getting that one out. And I would also remind everybody, if you want to throw us a sub in Twitch, you'll get that sweet sake emote. We got the fuck barrel emotes. We got the beat emotes coming. And I'm going to go ahead and shill the Patreon page. Don't forget, we have a Patreon. We don't get any of our content, but we do travel to cons and such, and it does cost money. And so if you wanted to throw a few dollars our way to help us get there and deliver you even more content, or maybe help us get some better equipment to give you a better podcast, we would deeply appreciate that. But we'll never actually, we're not gonna pressure you. Anything you give us is out of the kindness of your heart, so we would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Rebecca?
Yes, I have an announcement. So last week on the show, John made a bet with me that we would have a Nintendo Direct this week.
Yes.
We did not have a Nintendo Direct by Showtime.
Yeah, we did. What are you talking about? I watched it. It was great.
Fuck off, John. So he stupidly 2 weeks in a row never made a separate condition if I lost. So I'm not even really sure what would have happened if we had a Nintendo Direct. However, because he lost, he now has to play a mobile game of my choice for 30 minutes while live tweeting it. And I have decided on Gorogoa. So I'm gonna.
Is that like a kind of stinky cheese? Like,
I don't know,
it sounds
John,
really
you
good to
gotta play
me.
the game to figure out. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna find an acceptable time for John to live tweet his play of Gorogoa. Might even be able to convince him to just sit on stream with a webcam on him and play this game. I don't know.
I love a good slice of Gorgoa cheese on a cracker. It's one of life's simple pleasures, really.
We're gonna figure something out. But the goal here, folks, is to get John to understand that mobile games also can be good. So cheer him the fuck on. Cheer him the fuck on. This is not to make him miserable. This is to make him go,
Mobile games
that was
can be
not
very
the worst
good.
thing that's ever happened to me.
Reb, when do you want me to do
anyway,
this? When do you want me to do this? When am I doing this?
We'll talk.
Mobile
We'll figure it
auto
out. We'll
chess is
announce
about to
it.
take over the world.
Follow the Twitter. If you're not following the Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. Anyway,
Exactly.
yeah, that's fine.
Finn, talk to me, buddy.
I just the topic I wanted to bring up is just and it ties into John's
Thank you.
housekeeping. Is we released today a new video. We got a chance to do some early access hands-on with one of the big indie games to come out today, Katana Zero. So if you head over to our YouTube page, I got a chance. I upload like the first 30 minutes of the game with some commentary. And the game is a surprise. It's an action indie, but it has a really unique take on storytelling, which promotes a really strong desire to replay, because I was not expecting dynamic dialogue trees and branching story paths in this game. Your choices in gameplay and dialogue dictate what happens in the story, and I was not expecting that twist. So if you were on the fence about Katana Zero, go check out our video. It's up on the SDGC YouTube page.
And for people who want to pick that up, can you remind us what platform it's on?
Yes, Katana
Switch, right?
Zero is on Switch and PC.
But if you're not picking it up on Switch, you're just fucking around.
I mean, I played it
John.
on PC. It's good, but I'm double dipping on Switch.
It's better on Switch. But that's
It's
because
just
everything's
that
better on
game.
Switch.
If you
Well, to
play
be
it
fair-
on Switch, you're supporting continued dick curation.
It's
To be
true.
fair, you
Do it
could
for the
play on
dicks.
Switch last
Dicks
night.
out. Dicks out for Harambe, everybody. Dicks
Bad.
out.
Keep 'em out, keep 'em out.
No.
Get those dicks out.
Bad.
Can we ban him?
Probably.
Dicks out for soccer. Fine,
John,
fine. Dicks out for
John,
soccer.
2016 again,
John,
baby.
And also, John, there are some pretty good articles out there explaining the racist undertones of Harambe jokes, but I won't get into that today.
Are there? I don't know anything
Let's-
about that.
There
Also,
are.
can I
There
time
are,
out?
so-
Can I time out the official account on our own Twitch page? It's
Yeah,
kinda
I
big-
just tried. You can't.
Oh,
Nope,
okay.
sorry.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to sleep. John, send us home
Why doesn't somebody else do the sign off today? Why do I always have to do it?
because you have. the
Okay, it's.
I'll
it's
do
not-
it. I'll do
No,
it.
shut up,
No.
don't
Jesus
laugh.
Christ!
It's not
It's
always.
Rebs now.
It's not always poetry, and we don't always agree, but we're always.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're really fucking. No, we always keep it real. Right, yeah. And until next time, have a good night.
Bye. Reb, don't yell at me.
I will.